Hello, Kuhl family. Like this video and subscribe to the channel to know everything about Barça. In this video, we have a huge revelation about Barça, but before that, we need to talk about other very important topics concerning our beloved club. Let's move on to the first one. Barça sets its sights on Nico P's. ANS Flick gives the green light, and the player dreams of wearing the Blaugrana jersey. Barça is not slowing down its machine. With firm, discreet but determined steps, the Catalan club continues to strengthen its sports reconstruction project with a clear vision, to return to reign in Europe through a model that prioritizes young talent, playing identity, and ambition for the future. In this context, a name has emerged strongly in the club's offices and is generating notable enthusiasm among the coaches, executives, and some of the supporters: Nico P. The young 20-year-old Argentine offensive midfielder has been one of the most remarkable players of the season in Italian football and is now at the center of a real market battle in which Barça wants to impose itself. The situation is neither fortuitous nor improvised. Nico P has been closely monitored for some time by Barça's sports management. His progression, playing style, ability to unbalance from the offensive midfield position, and creative vision have made him a very attractive profile for Barça, especially now that the club is going through a phase where it needs to rejuvenate certain parts of the team and look for new formulas to regain the offensive weight that characterized it during its best years. But most importantly, Nico wants to play for Barça. It's as clear as that. This is not just a matter of interest from the club, there is reciprocity. The Argentine footballer, who currently belongs to Real Madrid and has been loaned to Como in Serie A, has made it known to his entourage that he feels ready for a bigger challenge and sees the possibility of landing at Camp Nou very favorably. For him, playing for Barça would represent not only a step forward in his sports career, but also the fulfillment of a dream he has had since childhood, an emotional motivation that cannot be underestimated and further enhances the value of this operation. On a sporting level, Nico P has shown this season that he is ready to compete at the highest level. His statistics speak for themselves: 6 goals and 9 assists in a team like Como, in a tactically demanding championship like the Italian League, reveal not only his ability to decide matches but also his consistency and adaptability. He has played as an offensive midfielder but also as a winger with late arrivals, always offering offensive solutions and making his mark in every match. His competitive maturity at such a young age is one of the aspects most appreciated by Barça's coaches. ANS Flick, the new Blaugrana team coach, has reviewed several reports and watched full matches of Nico, and his verdict has been categorical. The player fits perfectly into Barça's footballing idea. Flick believes that his tactical interpretation ability, his instinct to move between the lines, and his ease in generating superiorities in the final third of the field make him an ideal piece to implement a dynamic, propositional, and fluid game. For the German, Nico can be a differential player if integrated with discernment and offered continuity, and that is precisely what Barça is prepared to do: build a competitive environment in which the Argentine can exploit all his potential. From a contractual and market perspective, the timing is ideal to pursue him. Although Real Madrid has considered the possibility of recovering him after his loan in Italy, the emergence of new gems at Valdebebas and the recruitment of young South Americans have generated an overabundance of competition in his natural playing area. In this scenario, Nico does not want to be a secondary actor. He wants to be a protagonist, he wants to play, he wants to grow in a team that gives him confidence, and that is where Barça appears as an ideal option. The Argentine knows that at Camp Nou, he will find a club with a history, its own style, and, above all, the necessary courage to bet on young talents. Bayern Leverkusen, for its part, has also shown interest in his recruitment. The German team, which has just seen Florian Wirtz on the verge of finalizing his transfer to Liverpool, has set its sights on Nico P as its main objective to replace the German. The new Leverkusen coach, Erik ten Hag, considers that the Argentine can inherit the creative responsibility that Wartz will leave behind. However, from Barcelona, there is a certain tranquility. The player's interest in Barça is so strong that it can be decisive in rejecting other more powerful economic offers. Furthermore, Joan Laporta and Deco are working intensively to make the operation financially viable. They know that this is not just any investment but a market opportunity that can mark the future of the team. Although the club's accounts still require prudence, Barça is prepared to make a measured but firm effort to bring the player in. Nico's entourage has already been contacted, and although there is not yet a formal offer on the table, the initial moves have been positive. The footballer, for his part, remains calm but attentive. His decision is made. If Barça shows conviction, there will be no doubts. And now, from this platform, we address the Kuhl supporters. What do you think of this possible incorporation? Do you think Nico P can be the new creative reference for the team? Do you see a favorable light in an operation that not only adds talent but also subtracts an asset from the eternal rival? From our perspective, there is no doubt, recruiting Nico would be a masterstroke. It's not just about bringing in a quality player but also sending a message, reaffirming that Barça is back, that it is no longer a spectator in the market but a main actor with an exciting project, an elite coach like Flick, and a sports management that knows what it wants. Nico P can be the kind of player who, in a short time, becomes an idol. He has charisma, talent, competitive spirit, and, above all, the desire to defend this badge. In a context where so many players think more about numbers than colors, finding someone who dreams of being a Cule is something we cannot let pass. Barça has the opportunity, the player has the desire, and Flick has the plan. All that remains is to take the right steps to ensure this story ends well. Hopefully, we will soon see Nico presented at Camp Nou, raising the Blaugrana jersey and saying with pride what we all want to hear, "I have come to the club of my dreams." The story remains to be written, and as Cules, we must support every step that brings the club closer to a new era of glory. Nico can be the first name of a generation that will make the world fall in love again. Are we ready for that? Because he is. Visca el Barça and Visca Nico. The second piece of news concerns an important decision in our beloved club. There are moments in a club's history that define the course of an entire generation, decisions that, although they may seem risky, become symbols of conviction, ambition, and faith in a project. This is exactly where Barça stands today. After a transitional season marked by profound institutional, sporting, and emotional restructuring, the club is clear. It is time to take a step forward. It's not just about competing, it's about captivating once again. And there is no recruitment that better symbolizes this intention than that of Florian Wirtz. It's no secret that the young German talent is set to leave Bayern Leverkusen after completing a historic season under the guidance of Xavi Alonso, crowned by an undefeated Bundesliga championship. Wirtz has elevated his status to that of a global star and, instead of being swayed by the temptation of the most economically lucrative offers, he has shown character, patience, and maturity uncommon for a 21-year-old. He said no to Bayern Munich, rejected the easy path, and in doing so, ignited the hopes of Barça fans. From the very first moment his name resonated again in the club's offices, Hans Flick raised his hand. There was no doubt or nuance. If there is one operation worth fighting for, it is that of Florian Wirtz. The German coach knows the player well, having coached, followed, and understood him, and knows of his ability to act as an organizer, offensive midfielder, winger, and even a false winger if tactics demand it. But beyond the footballing aspect, Flick highlighted a detail that marked the board: his mentality, competitive character, and thirst for glory. Because Wirtz is not just a skilled dribbler or an intelligent passer. He is a leader in the making, a footballer who shines in big moments. His performance with Leverkusen has been a symphony of control, creativity, and determination. He hasn't just provided assists or scored goals. He has managed the team's tempo with the serenity of a veteran. His game reading, refined technique, positional intelligence, and ability to thread balls between the lines make him a unique asset. This is what is known in football as a complete player. And most exciting for us, the Cules, is that Wirtz wants to play for Barça. He himself has admitted on several occasions that he has dreamed since childhood of wearing the Blaugrana jersey, that he grew up admiring positional play, the philosophy of possession, and midfielders who direct the game like chess masters. In an interview given a few years ago, the player was clear: playing for Barça would be fulfilling a childhood dream. Today, that dream could be closer than ever. Joan Laporta, who has made the impossible his specialty, has taken up the gauntlet thrown by Flick, aware of the budgetary limitations but never dismissing the operation. On the contrary, he is managing it with discretion and cunning. The president, knowing that Wirtz prioritizes the sporting over the economic, has activated contacts with the player's entourage and with Leverkusen to study viable formulas. Loans with purchase options, deferred payments, sponsor participation, or even new external injections within the framework of sustainability, all with one goal: to bring Wirtz to Camp Nou. And Laporta knows it well. There are recruitments that change everything. Wirtz would not only strengthen the squad, he would send a direct message to the football world, a warning to the navigators: Barça is alive again. And not only that, it is returning with a young, ambitious, courageous, and coherent project, a project that does not depend on quick fixes or meaningless names, but on clear ideas and authentic talent. Incorporating Wirtz would be a statement on the table, a declaration of intent. From a tactical point of view, the arrival of the German would open up a vast array of possibilities for Flick. In the playing model he intends to implement, Wartz could act as a classic playmaker, an inside winger, or even an inside forward in a mutating 4-3-3. His versatility combined with his talent would allow for the reconfiguration of matches in progress without losing quality or identity. Furthermore, his tactical maturity allows him to adapt to different registers. He can play in a composed manner, accelerated, between the lines, or facing forward. He is an elite joker. And let's not forget something essential: age. At 21, Florian has a decade of top-level performance ahead of him. We are not talking about a declining star or an unstable promise. We are talking about a certainty that has not yet reached its ceiling, a player who, if well supported, can reach levels of excellence that will make him a European reference. Recruiting him now is not just about securing the present, it's about investing in the future. The Kuhl supporters, who have shown admirable patience during the difficult years, deserve news like this, deserve to regain enthusiasm, to fill the stadium not just with love, but also with hope. Because recruiting Wartz is not just about adding talent, it's about rediscovering a style, bringing back the figure of the cerebral midfielder, the pure game creator, embracing once again the football that made us great, the football that breathes from the midfield, that thinks through every movement, that seeks not just to win, but to win well. And facing this horizon, it is up to us, the Kuhls, to raise our voices, to make our desire felt, to show the club that this move counts on popular support, that we are ready to believe and dream again. That if Barça wants to bring Wartz, we will push with all our hearts. Because this recruitment is not just about football, it's about reconstruction, pride, and identity. Wartz embodies what Barça has always been: talent with values, play with ethics, victory with art. And that's why we must not give up. That's why it is so important not to throw in the towel today. While other clubs offer astronomical figures without soul, Barça offers something more powerful: a history, a jersey loaded with symbolism, supporters who never give up, a stadium that will roar again, a city where football is lived with passion and culture. Wartz knows it, feels it, and that's why he waits. And we, from our position as supporters, must keep the flame alive, continue to believe. Because if we manage to bring Florian Wartz, we will not only have completed a recruitment, we will have rediscovered hope. And with it, everything else is possible. The third piece of news is a thunderbolt at Barça. The future of Ronald Arujo at Barça has entered a phase of uncertainty that seemed hard to imagine just 2 years ago. The Uruguayan central defender, who arrived with enthusiasm from the reserve team to make a place for himself in the first team, has gone from being a promising figure to becoming a question mark for the future of the Blaugrana project. With the arrival of Hansi Flick on the bench at Camp Nou, all indications are that his cycle as a Barça player could be coming to an end. For many in the Kuhl environment, this possible departure is seen not only naturally but even with satisfaction. For a while, Arujo was the symbol of commitment, combativeness, and defensive sacrifice. He represented the kind of footballer who, although not a product of the youth academy, deeply resonated with a fan base in search of defensive references. His imposing physique, anticipation skills, and unwavering determination earned him the respect of the dressing room and the fans. But football, as we all know, does not forgive inertia or lack of evolution. In Arujo's case, what started as an upward curve has turned into a dangerous line of stagnation, or even regression. Mistakes have accumulated at crucial moments: lapses in concentration, tactical distractions, and a loss of hierarchy in key matches have eroded the confidence that the environment had in him. His performances with the Uruguayan national team have not helped to strengthen his image either. On the contrary, they have deepened the perception that the central defender has reached a point where he needs a change of scenery to revitalize his career. Because what Arujo has offered in recent months is far from the level required by Barca's defense, especially in a phase where the club urgently needs to redefine itself by betting on footballers who understand the playing philosophy down to the millimeter. In this sense, the arrival of Hansi Flick on the bench marks a turning point. The German coach has been clear from the outset. He is looking for a team capable of controlling matches through possession, playing out from the back with clarity, interpreting each space as an opportunity to build and not just to resist. And in this equation, Arujo does not quite fit. His game, based on physical strength and tackling, may be useful in another context, in other leagues, in other teams, but in the new Barca that Flick wants to build, closer to an idea of associative, fluid, and positional play, the technical limitations of the central defender become a barrier. This is why the possibility of a sale should not be seen as a drama. On the contrary, it can be a great opportunity for all parties. For the player, who would find an environment where his profile is more valued and could regain his best level. For Barça, which would free up salary mass, receive a relevant economic amount, and pave the way for other alternatives that meet the demands of the new project, and for the supporters, who would see the club making firm decisions to return to where it deserves to be, in the elite of European football. It must be remembered that Barça is in a process of reconstruction where every move must be justified by clear sporting logic. It is not about keeping players out of affection or for what they represented at a given moment, but about having a functional, coherent, and competitive squad. And today, objectively, Arujo has not shown to be up to these expectations. His presence in the most important matches has left more doubts than certainties, his tactical reading of the game has not improved, and his ability to lead the defense, beyond attitude and drive, has been questioned. From the club, according to leaks, they are already prepared to listen to offers. Arujo has a contract, yes, but that does not mean he is non-transferable. The summer market offers an ideal scenario to find buyers who value his physical profile, his youth. He is still only 26 years old, and his experience in high-level competitions. In the offices of Camp Nou, it is known that a well-executed sale could generate much-needed revenue, in addition to making room for the restructuring of the defensive axis. Personally, Arujo is also not comfortable. He wanted to be one of the captains, part of the team's leadership, to consolidate himself as a fixed figure, but the reality has been different. With the change of coach, his prominence has diminished, conversations with Flick have not been fruitful, he is not guaranteed a starting place, much less a relevant role. In this context, the player himself is beginning to see a transfer favorably. He wants to play, feel important, regain confidence, and this now seems more viable outside the club than within it. For all these reasons, from a mature and future-oriented Kuhl perspective, it is logical to support this possible departure. Arujo has not failed. He has given what he had, he has given himself, he has fought, he has been useful, but his cycle seems to have run its course. Football demands constant renewal, and if we truly want a competitive, ambitious Barça adapted to modern play, we must make decisions that, although unpopular for some, are necessary to move forward. We cannot live anchored to what some players were at their best moment. We must judge them for what they are today and, above all, for what they can contribute in the future. And the feeling, increasingly shared in the Kuhl environment, is that Ronald Arujo no longer represents a solution but an unknown, and that is something we cannot afford in a moment of total reconstruction. Let's also think about the example we want to set. If the club is capable of making tough decisions, such as selling a player who has been loved by the supporters, a clear message of ambition and seriousness is sent. It is shown that we are not building from sentimentalism but from demand, professionalism, and coherence with an idea of play. Thanking Arujo for what he has given is not incompatible with recognizing that his time has come to an end. Football is like this, and in this case, if managed well, everyone can come out winning. The player can revitalize his career in another environment, the club can advance in its project, and the supporters can begin to get excited about a new team, more coherent, more talented, and with fewer doubts. Therefore, as a convinced Kuhl who must look forward with courage, without unnecessary attachments, and with the ambition to return to the top, I consider that the departure of Ronald Arujo is not only positive but necessary. We thank him for his commitment, efforts, and dedication, but now it is time to change course. And you, Kuhl, what do you think? Do you think Arujo should stay in the club, or is it time to close this chapter and give way to a new defensive cycle more in line with what Barça needs?